Saddle up. The end of the world waits for no man.
In the Secret World, you know, since monsters don't have levels and you don't have levels, there's no easy way to say, well, you know, I'm level 17, this monster is level 18, I can probably take it down. It's not as easy as that. But there is going to be an indication for the players when they sort of scan a monster, they get this sort of augmented reality view of that monster, they will be able to tell the challenge rating of that monster, whether or not it's an easy one or a difficult one. Not necessarily in relation to your own powers, but that in general, in terms of what kind of monster it is. Let's say, for example, a zombie. A normal zombie is probably going to be sort of a very low-rated monster because it is just basically a human with, you know, zombie powers. But you meet a 15-foot demon with, you know, glowing fire hands and massive teeth. That demon is probably going to have a much higher rating. But in both cases, you'll actually also be able to visually look at that monster and say, you know what, I think that zombie probably easier to fight than that huge demon. And that's something that goes for the entire game as well. The challenge rating of a monster is always tied to its size, its effects. If you observe, if you keep your eyes open, you'll be able to say that, yep, that thing I can probably beat, that thing, no way. I need to, you know, gear up, I need to have more stuff, I need, you know, I need roots, I need snares, I need something, you know. There are lots of different ways to progress in the game. One is through the player powers, the abilities. I mean, anybody can buy any power. It's just a question of, you know, earning points in order to buy them and then buying them and expanding your total vocabulary of powers. And that's one path of progression. A lot of players will, of course, look at their sort of percentage in the power wheel and sort of say, oh, you know, I'm at 18%. I really want to get to 100%. I want to get every single power in the game. And you can. That's possible. For other players, it will be just basically their DPS or their, you know, healing abilities, their tanking abilities, or their total, you know, the size of the health bar. Really, that's sort of an indication of progress in the game, and that's all done through gear. As you progress through the game, you find chakras, which are basically like magical implants, weapons that increase your damage output or healing output. There's crafting as well, which will help you, you know, get the kinds of items and gear that will help your character grow. So it is a combination of player powers, the gear you have, and how you mix and match the two. We've shown a lot of Solomon Island at this point. We've shown us a lot of London at this point. The game is a lot more than that. Solomon Island itself is pretty huge. It's a massive island. But that's just part of what the game is all about. You have Egypt as well, another massive location with, you know, a city. It's a huge desert, temples, underground temples, this massive pyramid, a lot of content there as well. And then after that you move into Transylvania, which again has farmlands, it has forests, it has mountains. And all this stuff is, you know, it's pretty big in scope. We're not saying we're the biggest MMO out there, because that is really not our goal, but we are a game that has a lot of variety, both in terms of these big outdoor locations, in the hub cities that the players will start in, and also in the dungeons that you'll be able to go to, and also the PvP playfields. So it's a big game. It definitely has more than enough content to keep players occupied for months and months after launch, and of course we're going to expand it as soon as possible after launch.
I'm having another vision. They come and go like headaches. I can't really control them. Quick, before it passes.
The dungeons in the Secret World are made to be instances where you get together with your team and you spend 45 minutes, an hour, and you sort of have a lot of exciting encounters, a lot of interesting boss encounters, a lot of scripted encounters. They're meant to be sort of a rush in a way. We don't want dungeons that take hours and hours to play. We want something that people can sit down an evening, get through it, get the reward, experience something cool. But that doesn't mean there aren't Easter eggs. Like in the Polaris, one of the dungeons we allowed, you know, journalists to play. There are actually things in there that can lead to more answers. We talked about lore earlier. There's lore embedded here. There's stuff here that will actually open up some secrets that, you know, observant players will find. So there's worth looking around. It's worth spending your time. It's worth going back to check this out and see what else is there. choosing a faction in the Secret World is one of the most important things to do, and it's a choice made for life. And you know, based on which secret society you choose to go with, you're going to change some of the gameplay experience. The story mission changes. The hub you start out in changes. The ranking missions specifically change. Ranking missions is one place where you get to see the secret war from a different perspective than PvP. As a dragon player, for example, you might experience, going behind enemy lines into the Templars HQ. In a totally different way than in a Templars player would experience going into Dragon HQ, because there's such different entities in the world. The rewards you get from it are different. There are even, abilities that are unique, powers that are unique to each society. There's gear that's unique. There's clothing that's unique. So there's a lot of content that's very specifically tailored to the experience of playing either Dragon, Illuminati, or the Templars.
I'm very pleased you can follow directions on the back of a card. It is the basis for us getting along famously. Of course, with an establishment like this, we're practically in the yellow pages under Crusaders.
We have a lot of different mission mechanics in the Secret World, and we have a lot of different mission categories. Most importantly, we have the three sort of main categories. The story mission, which is sort of red thread through most of the content in the game. We have the main missions that you get from NPCs in the game that feature cinematics. And then you have the side missions, which are missions scattered all over. It could be tied to like a dead body, or tied to a box of iced squid, or you can, you find a carving in a tree of a triangle, and all these missions contain sort of different categories. So on the main mission side, you have like sabotage missions, you have action missions, and you have investigation missions, which are much more sort of the ARG type stuff, adventure type stuff that might even bring you out into the real world in order to investigate, in order to sort of decipher these clues. So there's a lot of different mission mechanics, a lot of mission variety in the Secret World.
She's a real beaut, ain't she? All dressed up and nowhere to go. And she's getting restless. Hush now, baby girl. Hush now. We'll get you sorted.
I mean, with the Secret World, we are doing a lot of things differently. We are, we have no levels, we have no classes. We have the sort of the modern day setting. So we also have a lot of movement in combat. As typical trope in MMOs is stand still and spam your buttons. But in the Secret World, you're encouraged to move. Every single attack allows movement. I mean, there are sure a lot of things that we could do differently, because we're still an MMO at heart. It's still an MMO in a lot of the mechanics in the game. You're still targeting your enemies, still pressing one of the number keys in order to fire something off. And of course, like, if given another decade in development, I'm sure we could twist a lot of those cliches and change a lot of the ways how MMOs work. But our goal is really to make the best MMO we could, and an MMO that brought something new to the table. And that's what we've done. We stuck to our guns in terms of having no levels, no classes, the type of setting we have. All that is stuff we had to sort of fight for at various times, and we believed in it, and we think the end result speaks for itself. The Secret World is coming out in April 2012 for the PC.